Hi students, let us now learn to draw the price setter graph in a logical sequence. Too often, we teachers see graphs which look weird and make absolutely no sense in exams and tests. This is probably because you kids like to memorize the shape of the graph and draw it with no logical sequence. So now let us work on the proper sequence together. There are 6 broad steps in drawing a price setter graph that shows the profit outcome. So obviously, firstly you must draw and label your axes. Then draw the revenue curves, then the marginal costs. Once we have the revenue curves and the marginal costs, we can then derive the output and the price. Lastly, we derive the profits by including the average cost curve in. Step 1. Let's draw the x and y axis. For the x-axis, label it output, or you can even label it quantity, like your demand-supply curve. For your y-axis, label price, revenue and cost. Labeling it price alone may not be so suitable because you have both revenue and cost curves. So the most accurate labeling would be price, revenue and cost. Step 2. Draw your revenue curves. First, draw the average revenue curve from the y-axis in a downward sloping manner. After which, you draw your marginal revenue curve, which should be about twice as steep as the average revenue curve. The reasons for this will be in your notes, you can go and check it out. Now that we have both the AR and MR curves already drawn, let us recall the condition for finding the profit maximizing output. The condition is MC equals MR. Hence, we need to go on to step 3. Drawing the upward sloping portion of the marginal cost curve, or I call it the Nike tick. Step 4. Derive the output by looking for the intersection between the marginal cost curve and the marginal revenue curve and drawing dotted lines down to the output x-axis to find your output. A common mistake at this point will be students using the intersection of MCMR to draw dotted lines back to the y-axis to get your price there. That is obviously wrong, because based on the formula, total revenue equals average revenue times quantity. Total revenue also equals price times quantity, which means by definition average revenue equals price. So you can never use the marginal revenue curve to derive price. You have to draw the dotted line all the way up to the AR curve, then to the left to the y-axis to derive price. Alright, we're almost done, boys and girls. Now, let's include the average cost curve to find profits. Let us start with the most difficult situation, drawing normal profits on this price setter graph. Now, the definition of normal profits is that AC equals AR at the profit maximizing output. Hence, they cancel each other out and the profit is so-called zero. We consider that normal profits. So, draw your AC curve from the left downward sloping and try to make it a tangent at the profit maximizing output. Continue drawing it until it hits the marginal cost curve. Once it hits the marginal cost curve, remember to slope it upwards so that your AC curve and your marginal cost curve intersect each other at the minimum point of the AC curve. To show supernormal profits, you have to draw the average cost curve below the average revenue curve at the profit maximizing output. This should be common sense. If my revenue is more than my cost, obviously I'm making supernormal profits. So same thing, for subnormal profits, draw your AC curve above your AR curve at the profit maximizing output. Obviously, your cost is higher than your revenue, so you're making a loss. In econs, we call that subnormal profits. Yeah, I know it's weird. Even though you're making a loss, we still call it profits. But yeah, economists like their flowery language. So there you have it. The 6 logical steps for drawing the price setter graph. I hope this alleviates your memory work. To memorize the 3 graphs showing subnormal profits, supernormal profits, and normal profits is really a headache. If you do it like that, however, you don't really need to memorize anything, okay? Because these are logical steps which are more easily stored in your memory than memorization of graphical shapes. Okay, I hope this helps. Okay, please leave comments or feedback if necessary, and good luck for your studies.